Hey guys, Destined Bellfire Unquenchable Darkness here. We're back with another scary story. And so you already know about the scenario that I had for me to be very quiet for my parents cuz they're asleep right now. But I'm sure that since they're both asleep, I'm sure that anything. They couldn't hear anything coming from me. But yeah, I'm back with another scary story, which is physics teacher. But and it's where a strange story about a bunch of students who noticed that there is something different about their favorite teacher. He, so honestly, he could be my teacher for biology or something. I'm just saying that this picture of that teacher, of that dude. Imagine that. I'm just imagining that him could be perfect for my biology teacher, maybe in 10th grade or something. Yeah, he could be the perfect teacher for biology. Yeah, so here, enough with waiting around. Let's get this over with. So this is physics teacher. Enjoy. The curtains rises on the theater of the abyss. A strange event took place in our school. In the 7th grade, we had a physics teacher named Mr. Sedgwick. I don't know how to. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong. I'll just assume that it's pronounced Sedgwick. He was a good teacher, and was popular with all the kids. He wasn't strict. He had a lot of jokes in class, and he was generally a nice guy. So keep an eye that this isn't a scary story. Well, it might be once once I keep on reading the story progressively. Well, but this is also a strange story. So maybe after I finish record once I finish recording this video and about to upload it to YouTube, maybe I could call it a strange story. Does that sound good to you? Anyways, it all started one cool autumn day after lunch. As usual, when the bell rang, we all went back to the classroom and sat down at our desk. However, our physics teacher wasn't there. He was always waiting there in the classroom before the bell rang, but this time he was nowhere to be found. With only 15 minutes to go before the end of the lesson, Mr. Sedgwick came storming into the classroom. He slammed the door and greeted us coldly and sat down at his desk. In a dry voice, he said that our notebooks, which he had collected the day before to correct, were missing and he couldn't find them. He informed us that we just had to buy new notebooks and do the exercise over again. We all let out a groan, but Mr. Sedgwick suddenly banged his fist on the desk and yelled, "Shut up!" And let me do it again. Let me rephrase that. We all let out a groan, but Mr. Sedgwick suddenly banged his fist on the desk and yelled, "Shut up!" He was seething in rage. He was seething in rage and gave us a look like he wanted to slit our throats. It was chilling, so out of character that it shocked us into silence. Before we continue with the story, I want to let you know a little fun fact. So while, so when I have biology, fun fact about my teachers that he won't. My fun fact about this my teacher in geometry. I, don't- I don't know if I should tell you guys because you don't want because you guys might not want to know about it, but my geometry teacher actually doesn't like when my friends tell my to the when my friends told the others to shut up. Yeah, he won't let anyone he won't let any of his students to yell shut up. Yeah, so he won't allow us to say shut up to anyone. From that day from that day on, we all noticed a big change in Mr. Sedgwick. He was no longer the laid back, friendly teacher he had once been. Instead, he was mean and angry, snapping at us no matter what we said, and flying into a rage over the most trivial things. We acted differently, but not only with the students, but also with the other teachers. He barely socialized with them all, and if he was forced to talk to them, he was all business. Everyone wondered what had happened to him. He wasn't married and he didn't have any kids, so it couldn't be problems at home. The teachers in our school were relatively well paid, so it couldn't be money troubles. Well, if it wasn't for if it wasn't for being married and don't have any kids, or nor having money, nor having money troubles because of him barely get paid, which I know that maybe that mostly teachers barely paid, hardly paid, hardly get paid. Like I'm I feel sorry for those teachers that hardly paid from school. They deserve to pay more. They really deserve to pay more. But for Mr. Sedgwick, if it wasn't for being married, if he was not married or not having kids, nor having money troubles, then what could be his problem? Then what could be his problem then? It was the start. It was the start of December when something odd happened. One of my classmates, I mean, a boy named Max, stayed back after school because he had to meet with Mr. Sedgwick to go over his physics project. We were waiting for him outside. All of a sudden, we saw two teachers heading towards the medical office, carrying Max in their arms. Following them was Mr. Sedgwick. My goodness. When Max regained consciousness, we asked him what had happened, but he didn't remember a thing. All he could recall was that he had opened the door to the classroom, stepped aside, and that was all. Mr. Sedgwick said that Max had just fainted and somehow rolled out into the corridor. The other teachers accepted him at his word, but we weren't so sure. Something feels fishy. Um, I don't, maybe, maybe it was, maybe it was Mr. Sedgwick that done that to Max. Whatever the cause, from that day on, the hair on Max's head started to turn gray. Whenever he saw Mr. Sedgwick in the corridor, he would break out into a cold sweat and his whole body would begin to shake. By the Christmas holidays, Max had a full head of white hair and nobody could explain it. Everything came to a head in mid-January when one day, to all our surprise, the police showed up. Behind the school, on the other side of the football field, there was a dense forest. On the edge of the forest, in an area where the grass grew tall and thick, a dead body had been discovered. Oh, oh my God. The corpse was badly decomposed. In fact, it was little more than a skeleton, but the police found a bag nearby, half hidden in the tall grass. Inside, they found 30 physics notebooks. They were the missing notebooks that belonged to our entire class. The police did an autopsy and later confirmed that the body belonged to Mr. Sedgwick and that he had died of a broken neck. And Mr. Sedgwick, who had been teaching us all this time, well, he just disappeared. After the police came to the school, nobody had seen him again. He was scheduled to teach more classes that day, but he never showed up. He just seems to disappear off the face of the earth. Oh man. To tell you guys the truth, I still don't get it. What was the ending? I lost track of what was actually going on at the end of this story. I really don't get this at all. Whether if Mr. Sedgwick is dead or disappeared or something, I still don't get it. Was exactly happening in the story. Like I could tell, like I know that this is a strange story and all, but what was the purpose of the story? Like, what really happened? What really happened? I really don't get this story. Like, well, there are some scary stories that I've read that I didn't get what was happening at all. But alrighty guys, so that was physics teacher. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next scary story, a riddle or an urban legend for you guys. But all to the side, I'll see you guys later. The curtain closes on the Theater of the Abyss.